position has been compromised. Defend the cargo until reinforcements arrive.
Ballistics and archaic weapons. Crude and dangerous. Just like the Grineer. Move and strike. We have to win this.
extraction team will take over from here. Time to evacuate.
The inbox has messages for the operator. Anything about orders in there?
My latest safari in the Void has yielded spectacular finds. Unique items for the Tenno of Distinction. Next time I'll have something you'll want, I'm sure of it.
Welcome to my little shop.
Each enemy is more powerful than before. Only with true mastery of the Tenno Arsenal will you succeed.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way.
Disgusting, is it not, Operator? Ordis would enjoy
Purging this.
cleaning this room, but sadly this vile mass serves you and your warframes. A necessary evil. A strange biological archive here. I cannot explain it, Operator, as no one have sustained memory system damage. Ordis recommends leaving at once and welding the door shut. Everything in orders, Operator? Is that a pun? I will attempt to bypass this vault.
off. They're trying to check you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support. extraction is ready.
A resource doubler, so keep that in mind. And I've gotten around, for 10 minutes, I've gotten around 2,000, so that's 10 minutes for 1,000. What's it called? 1,000 plastics. Now, in Steel Planet, you have a 100% increase chance of getting
Operator, were you visualizing a bloody battle?
Me too.
resources that it is a little bit. Now, plastids is one of the resources. I get it. It is only one farming here, so keep that in mind. And I've gotten around for 10 minutes. You do have a 100% increase on the actual, place itself, so the actual node itself. Now, a couple of tips. Bring yourself a Smida Kavat for that extra loot. Again, EV Trinity on the actual, you do have a 100% increase chance of getting loot. Core's Strangle Dome, 65%, and of course, 20% resource drop chance on the actual, place itself, so the actual node itself. Now, a couple of tips. Bring yourself a Smida Kavat for that extra loot. Bring yourself a full squad with Necros Wisp for the extra buffs, because it's going to be very, very useful. Bring yourself maybe an EV Trinity, maybe something like that would be pretty good. Necros and DPS, you don't need a DPS, you still have Cora. And I guess that's pretty much it. Maybe another Warframe I keep forgetting. Maybe, Fast Nova, there you go. I always forget Fast Nova. So basically, that is it. You all you need to do is just kill the enemies, get yourself some plastids, and it's not that hard to find and farm, so you don't have to. Everyone, it is me, Guide. Now, plastids is one of the resources. I guess it's a common rare resource. Not that hard to get, but it is one of the resources that is a little bit more trickier to get, I guess. It might be like Oxium. It is only one farming location this time. It's going to be Piscanis on Saturn. I did.
Toxic spores into the area. The emergency life support I am delivering is your only chance for survival.
Yes, sir.
I delivered a life support capsule to the area.
Goddamn.
Additional life support has arrived.
conquered the foe, so you conquer yourself.
Check your inbox, operator. Maybe Otis will get a message someday.
Morning, everybody. It's EJ Energy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. It's time for some front page news. Good morning, Tesla Figaro. How you feeling?
I am feeling wonderful. Good morning to everybody.
Now, we got to shout out to our people in LA. They say a rare tornado hit Los Angeles yesterday. They said it was the strongest one to hit the county since 1983.
Wow.
Climate change is real, sir. They said it's been raining in LA for weeks, too.
Yeah, they said 17 buildings were damaged. They said 11 fire departments, 11 fire department personnel have been injured, and one regular, I guess, civilian was injured yesterday. So, thank God nobody died. So that's a great thing. But a tornado in LA, doesn't that just sound crazy?
Not in this era of climate change.
All right, well, let's get to some more news now. What am I seeing that black people are quiet quitters? What is that about?
Yes, quiet quitters. Speaking of California, one California congressman actually wants to make the 4-day work week a federal law. And I know you guys have been talking about, 4-day work week. We talked about it earlier this week with Jason. And so I wanted to just bring you some data to support that. So again, a California congressman is actually trying to make it a 4-day work week. And this week, Black Enterprise published a story about how new research shows that 63% of Black employees don't believe that hard work will help them get ahead in today's workplace. And so they do something called quietly quit their job. Now, the quiet quitting concept does not mean that someone actually leaves their job, but it refers to a person that only does the bare minimum. It also may indicate that the worker is unhappy with their current position and is prepared to make a job change. Now, the study pointed out that Black employees have had to work twice as hard to get half as far, which leads to more stress, burnout, and ultimately leads to quiet quitting. Now, the study found that employees who talk on their cell phones a lot, watch TV at work are signs of quiet quitters. And on Monday, I remember Charlamagne pointed out how everyone needed a break. And Jason was talking about, the guest host for the week, was talking about just find a job that you love. So I thought that was also interesting that this study found that 28% of Black workers would rather take a pay cut of $20,000 if they could be guaranteed happiness at work. So until you find yourself in a better situation, I wanted to give you 5 quick tips. This came from 37 Ways to Stay Happy on Your Job, but I want to give you 5 quickly. Number 1, spend your commute thinking of 3 good things that happened today, and obviously listen to the Breakfast Club because your morning is never going to be the same. 2, remember your value. 3, make the most out of your weekend. And 4, make sure you communicate with your manager, such as talk to them about possibly getting a flexible schedule. And 5, last but not least, get a new job.
That's all great advice and great tips, but I also want to add that, even if you have a job that you love or you have businesses that you own that you love, you still need a break, people. Like they say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It's still work. And you still need a disconnect, for your own mental and emotional well-being every now and then. So, even that is not all the way accurate when people say that.
And there's a lot of public policy that's going around the country that is really pushing this 4-day work week. So it is not just a conversation. It is actually real policy that could happen. So as usual, I encourage people to get involved on your local and state government. That's where you see the most change in your life.
Absolute word. Now let's talk about this car crash. What happened with this car crash?
Yeah, again, speaking of local government, I wanted to talk about this story where 3 people are dead after the driver of a Lexus SUV ran from a traffic stop and slammed into a Honda serving as a rideshare Lyft at a high speed chase outside of Washington, D.C. last week. Now, the accident resulted in 3 dead and 2 hurt, but it turns out that the Lexus driver received 43 speeding tickets and 1 for running a red light in 10 months, racking up $12,000 in fine, So let me say that again to be clear. 43 speeding tickets and 1 for running a red light in 10 months. Now, you may say, well, how did he get all of these speeding tickets and how did he get away with this? It is because Washington, D.C. speed cameras, they're great at generating revenue. In fact, it generated $87 million in revenue the past fiscal year. But because the traffic cameras do not capture faces and only license plates, the penalties are levied on the actual car and not the driver. Statistics show that deaths in the U.S., road deaths in the U.S. has hit an all-time high in 2021, while other developed countries are much lower. So this is just another example, guys, again, on the local level, the local and state level. They're generating a lot of money from these cameras, but it is not necessarily keeping people safe.
All right. Well, thank you, Tesla Figaro. And, you know, it's a tough one because, like you said, if my wife drives my car or my daughter drives my car, the ticket goes to the car, not me personally, which I do think is fair because you never know who's driving the cars. But if somebody's getting that many tickets, they should definitely be suspending that license, that registration in that car or something.
Absolutely.
I thought they used to do that. I thought they used to take points off your. Didn't you have a certain amount of points you couldn't lose before they take your license?
Yeah, but the problem is, like she's saying, they're ticketing the car, not the person. Right. It's like if you drive my car and you speed, it takes a picture of that car. I don't know. I can say I wasn't driving. You was driving. My daughter was driving. Tez was driving. You just never know who's driving that vehicle if you're not pulling that license.
Maybe they should start taking points off the vehicle. You know what I mean? So if your vehicle loses a certain amount of points, I don't know, the owner of that vehicle loses their license, because in that way, whoever the owner of that vehicle is either going to be very cautious of who they let drive the car. They're going to put real pressure on the person driving the car. Like, don't you mess up in my car. Now, I can't lose no more points. They're going to take my license.
Sure, but then that would create an issue of somebody being penalized, I guess, for something else. But it's an interesting point. And again, you know, the conversation out there with these cameras is really that it's just a money-making opportunity as well. So people have to just really get involved at their local level and bring those types of suggestions. You can do it every week in your local government and get it off your chest and come up with better policy that keeps us safe, in addition to, you know, being able, I guess, for the government to continue to make more money.
All right. Well, thank you, Tesla Figaro, for joining us this morning.
That's right. And make sure you subscribe to the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast from Tesla Figaro on the Black Effect iHeartRadio network. As she told y'all earlier, she goes in depth and unpacks a lot of these stories that she tells us, you know, during the week on Front Page News. So go check out the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast from Tesla Figaro.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Prepare for life support.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building. We got Currency and Jermaine Dupri. Jay. What up? What's going on, fellas?
Making moves. What this look like? How does collaboration?
Yeah, roll out together.
Roll out, that's all. Yeah.
How does collaboration came about?
Man, I did a record on this Harry Fraud album I did, and I named the record Jermaine because it reminded me of when I seen Bro on MTV Cribs. So it made me speak on it, name the record after all, and he heard it. It was like, come to the studio, like, come through, like, do a record. But what I thought was just come do a record. But then we jammed up, like it felt right, and we never stopped working.
Did y'all always cool with each other? Did y'all know each other? Just not at all.
No. As soon as we jammed up, it was like our stepbrothers. It was like, yo, like, for real, like, did we just become like best friends? No, like we just jammed up. Now we got some good records.
Now let's go back to that MTV Cribs thing, right? Because, you know, nowadays when you see rappers doing that shit looks like it's everybody flossing. But back then, they really used to inspire people. That's what I was talking about.
Yes, like dude had the iceberg sweater on. Just all the stuff that was out of my reach at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like they always see like how kids like saw Black Panther, like it looked like us. Like I'm like, no, this nigga look like us. Like this it right here. You know what I'm saying? So we do it. The only people I ever seen on there was like I keep telling them household and like experience house and shit like that, and then back.
But let's talk about that. What do you think the difference is back then? Because I remember seeing JD, right? The first time I seen an exotic sports car was JD had the Lambo with the Aventadors with the doors up and put the kids on it. So for me, it wasn't like flossing, it was inspiring, right? When I used to see Swizz or Hove, it was Buster, it was inspiring. Yeah. Why do you think people don't look at it now as inspiring? Now they look at it like, oh, you flossing. Why do you think it's the difference?
It's not a fuck. I mean, it got to a point where like people, there was a TV show and they was trying to make a show, and they started actually renting houses from people that didn't have houses. They started renting cars from people so that their situation would look the same as whoever they had on the show. I think that's where they messed up. I mean, that's where they took that part of what you're talking about out, because I mean, the last one I remember was when like they tried to do it with Redman, and Redman was like, "Nah, I'm gonna take you out of my house in Jersey."
Right.
And it was like he stayed in like a
townhouse,
right? And they was trying to give him a house and car, and he didn't want to do it. So I mean, that's pretty much what happened. It's like people just was like, "Nah, let's fake it and make it look like this is my house and these are my cars." So that's what I mean. For real, people had a stack of video games, and I was like, "Well, I could also. This is me too. I could also do this too if I got that, man."
And also, I think because you knew that whoever was on Crips back then actually worked with that. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's like you can stand in front of somebody's mansion, stand in front of somebody's mansion. We're asking, what do these people do? We didn't have what JD did back then. Yeah, we knew what he did.
So how was it working with JD?
It was like, honestly, it was like, I've been in the game for a long time. Just on the outside looking in, that's one of the people that I figured, that was like somewhere else. That's outer space. You know what I'm saying? So you speak on it. If I named the record Jermaine Dupri, I never thought I was going to Jermaine Dupri.
That's wild that y'all never met. That's
you know what I'm saying? Like
y'all both be outside. Like
yeah, but
especially like y'all be outside.
Yeah, but it's two different. It's two different worlds, realms. Like worlds completely. Like he's outside, and his group of people in the section may include like you want this girl named Russia. All right, and it's me and the homies. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's just great that it did, and just like when I thought I was gonna go to the NFL and NBA, I used to look on the back of the cards, look at people's birthday, and see who would be in the league when I got there. You know what I'm saying? And like this is like that shit.
How was working with Currency?
It's dope, but it's just it's interesting because we never talked about songs. Right? Usually I talk about what we're gonna do prior to even making a beat. He rolling up, I'm making a beat. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't even know if he know what that is. But it just happened. We never made one record where we talked about what we were gonna do. It just organically happened. So I felt like, the first 5 records that I saw this happen, I'm like, oh, this is something this is what organic, I guess, feels like, or it means, right? By the time we got to 10, I'm like, oh, okay, this is really something different than what I usually, usually it's a process of like, we're gonna make a song like this, and we need to make a record like this, and we need to do this and put this person on there. We ain't had none of them conversations, but we got to that process at the end of the songs,
As the legend you are, JD, you saw him name the song after you, like that made you feel good. Let's be real, people don't give you the credit you deserve.
Not at all.
That was crazy. I mean, I feel like that was like that's the thing I said. The least I could do is do a record for him. You know what I mean? That's the least I could do. Like nobody had ever done that. That's taking acknowledging me to a whole nother level, right? And there's other people that don't even have that. That don't even get that level of like somebody naming a song after you, right? So I never thought that, and I never thought that in my forecast to even happen. Like, oh, I can't wait till they start naming records after me. Like, you don't even think like that. So it definitely took me back. Like, damn, okay.
And you know, it also was refreshing and a reset because what he did was he made me love and all the things that I love. He loves it, like, and he makes you appreciate. He makes you appreciate stuff like that, like Carl on the desk right there. Like, you know, I collect toys. You know, so the things that I do. Sometimes people come to my studio, they're like, "Why you got all these toys in there?" But he came to the studio, like picking them up, looking like my son will go crazy over this, and he just make you appreciate the stuff that you actually already do.
I was gonna ask, you know, both of you guys are very underrated in your own crafts, right? So, you know, Currency, you've been out for so long, you put up so many records, and I feel like the world doesn't necessarily give you the credit you deserve. And the same thing with yourself, JD. Do you guys have those conversations?
Nah, we don't have the conversation like, but we just, it's an understanding, like, you know, that's why we do, but we also know, like, the ceiling that's on those movies by not being an asshole, waving your own banner, getting mad at that people give you accolades and notice what you did. We just keep putting the numbers up and shit work.
I feel like you have to do that when you're from the South.
Yeah, if you want people to, if you want that, then you have to do that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you just want to take care of your family, pay your bills, and ball out on your own accord, then you don't have to do it. Like I always say, like I still want to go to Walmart and look for Hot Wheels and shit, you know. I want to go in a Ferrari or something, so I work hard enough to do that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not worrying about the other shit that come with it. Like, those, being in those circles and doing all that shit.
Because all the guys up north will always be like, "Oh, I'm the king of New York, I'm the king of hip hop." Wayne didn't get in the conversation until he said he the best rapper.
Yeah,
T.I. didn't get in the conversation until he said he the king of the South. Yeah. I feel like when you're from the South, you have to say it.
You have to. You know, but just that paper, that's really what matters. That's really what matters.
JD, you feel like you started popping your shit a little too late?
Nah. I mean, it's hard to even say that because that's what I'm on Cribs. I'm popping shit, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I think people start paying attention too late. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was popping shit at 19. I don't think people start paying attention to Jermaine Dupri like I was 25, 26. Even now, when people start speaking of like records I did, they leave Chris Cross completely off that whole list, right? So half of my existence in the popping shit era. You know, just when the Breakfast Club when I did Money in a Day, just imagine if it was Stacks again. It wasn't no Breakfast Club when we was doing that, right? And then people wanted for more money. We were the first guys on TV throwing in a video, right? So I just think people they weren't in that era when this happened. And then they start hearing that they compare me to somebody, right? And then that's where the lack of it happening came from. And then I'm from the South. I represent Atlanta, right? To the fullest. So therefore, the South always gets slighted. It just is what it is. It's not a oh no we don't. It's a true fact. It's like not as much anymore. Not as much anymore. Nah, really, we just really got dished really bad, really bad. Recently, friends. Yeah. No limit. No live. Luciano is listen, Luciano is the reason that the parental advisory sticker is on every rap record in the world. How do you do a hip hop 50 and you do not put that sticker on these records, man? On the stuff. He can talk on the mic, he ain't have to rap. He could have just came out for representation. And I feel like if you're gonna slight group, they're gonna always slight Jermaine Dupri. Because I'm saying, I don't think I did the parental advisory thing. I haven't done anything that way, bitch. This is forever in hip hop. Right? This was on your mixtapes. This is forever. This is something that everybody had to feel because of what they did in Miami. And you can't put that man on the show. Right? That's a fact, yeah. They start digging up old Luke. They gonna try to get Luke out of here in 2002.
But do you ever look back and think about, you know, some of the things that you created, right? Like, cause
this. A lot of this stuff came from the tree of Jermaine Dupri and Social Step, right? People that networked for you, that was intern, people that you employed. You ever look back at that and be like, people, this is from my tree and most people don't know?
Yeah, we talk about it. By the way, yesterday, we had a listening party last night. But prior to that, we was getting ready for a listening party. We was doing a photo shoot. They was playing Never Scared, right? And he was like, why are they playing this song? And I'm like, that's my artist. And he was like,
I was like, this, all right. I was like, what playlist is this? Like, so. All right. They play the ones you know for sure they're supposed to play. Like after Bow Wow bounced with me when Bone Crusher came up. Right. So I was like, oh, they're just mixing it up, like playing some stuff related to it. I didn't know that. And then when he was talking to me about that shit, Young Blood came on. Yeah, and I was like, so this one too, you know what I'm saying? That fucked me up. Like, I didn't even know. Like, yeah, now they were signed.
Yo, Little John used to work for Jermaine.
Yeah, this is the tree that you
see, even that's what I'm saying. If he don't know this, right?
I don't know. He was in the restaurant with the skates in the video. That's all I knew. I was like, that nigga did all that.
You had to know that was people
I know.
Okay.
I'm saying that's the ones I knew. I didn't know that he did that. I had no idea about that.
Do the franchise boys, right?
All the people. I knew that he seen me. Yeah, I saw it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that.
So it's crazy because they put this list out of executives, I think yesterday or whatever, like the top 10 CEOs, and somebody was asking me, do I think I should be high on the list? And I don't care about that list, but I should be higher because I'm sure they did the exact same thing. They're not even factoring in half of the artists that's come from this tree that you speak of.
But history has to matter, right? Because you can't have a Mount Rushmore of Atlanta without you being free.
Yeah, but
so if Atlanta's the way people read in New York, right? They will put the architects in New York. Well, you gotta put the architects of Atlanta on.
Yeah, I just think that Atlanta, modern day Atlanta is so hip hop, and I was doing both. You know what I mean? I'm responsible for a lot of R&B that come from Atlanta. I'm responsible for a lot of hip hop from Atlanta, and I feel like the mindset of now they talk about it. It's all hip hop. It's all hip hop. So even in that space, people try to like, I didn't know you did Anthony Hamilton. You know what I mean? It's like you try to move out a lot of the things. It's just I think it's just people just not living in the era or not knowing. You don't see me. But it's crazy because I'm the only person that I feel like if I put my tag on my record, I put the tag on the record, they know. But if I don't say nothing, I just try to be straight CEO. It's just like I'm putting out records. People don't ever mention me doing them, so.
Well, you do projects like this. Is something like you got something to prove?
Like this project? Yeah. Nah. I mean, I feel like this project is really who I am. This project is really what I actually come from. This is how I started. It's a reminder to let people know that, though. I think, like I said, when people start talking about Jermaine Dupri, the first name they come out of my mouth is Brian Gary or Usher. I'm a hip hop guy. You know what I mean? I write songs, with the gift that God gave me. But I'm from the hip hop world, and that's what it is.
What makes you work with newer artists like we see you did Division's album? What makes you say, you know what, I'm gonna dive into some of the new artists that are not mine as well?
I mean, that's how I always. I mean, that's what I did always. I mean, Usher became a staple of mine because I did the same thing that I did with Division. When I did Usher, nobody, Usher's face was gonna drop Usher. It was like, Jermaine need to work, so all of y'all put this out the door. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I've always been that guy and just like, I don't have no problem working with you. Y'all believe in the artist? Like, the artist, let's go in the studio. So I don't never have I don't even look at it like that. And I had to do that at first, but then when I did Ari Lennox and her record went #1, I was like, why am I not doing this for all these other artists out here? They need it. It ain't even like the thing that I'm doing for me. They need it. They need somebody in the studio with them that can help them take them to the next level.
When you hear the conversation, when you hear Usher and Chris Brown, I think Chris is dope, but I think Usher got to do it. I just think it's a difference between 20 Usher would come with and the 2 Chris would come with. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that it's still, once again, it's the same. It's like hip hop. It's like currency, right? You got way more records than a bunch of people, right? I think that's what people look at. They think about how many records Chris has, and how many times they hear it. You hear Chris 100 million times more than you hear Usher. So I think that's where people start basing verses. They're not used to songs. People don't even listen to songs past 30 minutes, right? I watch my daughter play a record and the verse don't even get done. She don't get through 16 bars. She's going for another song, right? So they don't measure the songs like you're saying. So I feel like the young generation, they're all going to say, well, because they're not measuring how big the songs are. But if you're a song person, you know for sure.
You think Usher will watch him?
I'm just saying, if you're a song person, having them songs is fine, so I'm a fight for my records. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask those, you've been independent for a long time.
Yeah.
Now break that down.
After my success, like really, everything that anybody like really like focus on the bread, every time I got picked up money, it was all independent.
So you're independent, you have to do everything yourself. You have to pay producers, pay clearances, everything.
Yeah.
Did that get tiring?
Nah, I got my own boy. You know what I'm saying? You know, we did everything. So it's easy.
You hear people talking independent route, they've been doing this for a long time.
I just said it's easy really because as long as you get out your own way and handle it and stop comparing yourself to other people. That's the whole thing. Independent people like always keep fucking phone and watch what everybody's doing. Machines behind them and all that shit. Work.
Students you got off. I know they off.
Yeah, you know, it comes with like a couple of things. It don't matter. You see it. Because I always see like the Mexican term. The deal that they try to offer people. When they structure down like that, that was dope. But now, you just flat out don't have to. As much as you want to roll, as many times you want to start busting, you know, the road will be money. That's the whole thing. You build in your listeners and then you just go to see them. You pretty much a pop-up shop yourself. You just go and travel. People who want to shop with you, they gonna put on.
So it's more notorious than the first thing.
Yeah, for sure. The music is like the advertisement and everything else we have. Like I go to speak to them, you know what I'm saying? Don't pump the music out. We're always there with clothes and shit like that. We about to drop furniture and everything else. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it goes with the lifestyle. You know, you're doing pretty good. You're probably gonna kick back a little bit. So you're gonna put out some couches and some
joint holders,
ashtrays and such built in. You know what I'm saying? With lumbar support for you to be stoned and hang out and watch the TV and shit. That's all the way out.
Well, I was in Nashville. What made you create Just Like the Clothing brand? You know, it'd be nice if you furnished this place a bit.
You can do that. We're definitely put y'all down with the furniture. Listen, big enough prices to
what made you create that? So well.
Well, I always was into like fashion. Put stuff on. Some shit was not out. Some ideas that shit that I missed a lot of those. Like stop doing stuff that I like. And keep it in that vein of the stuff I miss. That's what it was out.
Are you ever surprised with the amount of support you get from the Clothing Line?
Yeah, I see it everywhere. Like, I am. Nah, bro, you are a great spokesperson for the brand, Look, man, I am surprised how places where I don't expect to see it, and motherfuckers that know this, and you can tell, like, they didn't know that they had none. It's not like so his mom was in the grocery store. I'm talking about people in the know, such as yourself, who have it. Like Nas, after he wins the Grammy,
Lotto had a freestyle that went everywhere. She had the Jet Life Letterman jacket on and shit. So it's like, even though I'm not in those rooms, I'm still in those rooms and shit. So it's tight because they know what I mean. You know, so they bring it everywhere, but they feel like I should be at anyway. So it's tight.
I bet you used to get high and walk around furniture stores.
What? I used to get roasted and go to the aquarium. Okay. And stuff like that, yeah, but not furniture.
So how'd you get a love for furniture?
I like to chill. And it's all about finding like comfortable chilling stuff. So we're gonna make our own. Same reason, like out of necessity. Same reason we did Jet Life clothing. You know what I'm saying? Like we need better stuff to chill on. So
you be sitting in the couch like this. I don't
like this motherfucker. I get him like, you know what? This shit is not really for niggas to kick it on. So we're working on it. You know.
What made y'all name the album? I mean the record Essence Fest.
Oh, dang. Well, you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Well, it's a rivalry between the Falcons and the Saints. Mm-hmm. This is a real thing, right? And for the longest, when we first started working, I was like, you know, if we're going to do an album, once we got past the first 10 songs, I kept thinking in my head, if we're going to do an album, we have to make something that speaks to that rivalry. Or we can't act like, because we ain't supposed to be cool when that game come on, right? So we can't act like we don't know this. Like, this is something that you know. If you're from Atlanta, you know that. If you're from New Orleans, you know that, right? So then we both start trying to find out why it's a rivalry. But then it's also a love there. It's a love that, you know, if you're from Atlanta, you talk about going to Essence Fest in January. It don't happen till July, right? This is something we prepare for all, like the top of the year. People like, yeah, you know, they getting their clothes ready in January to go to New Orleans. And I feel like it's vice versa. When people come to Atlanta for the games from New Orleans, they come out there and they have a good time. They love the city. So it's a love-hate situation. And I think the one thing that brings that love and that hate together is the Essence Fest, right? So it was just only right. And then once we got the bounce, the record, and it was the bounce and the vibe, and he had never rapped over a record like that. Now that he's a full-fledged professional artist, it just made sense to like bring all of that in and not leave one piece of that out. The Essence Fest brings every piece of it out.
The fact that the first time you heard Get the Gat,
I heard it
was at a party
in the
Essence Fest. That's when you first heard it. So you know the way my mind works. I'm like, nah, it's just the gavel dropped right down. That's the name of it.
Get the Gat. That's a New Orleans classic, right?
Yeah, I told him like it's in the fiber of all the music that ever came out after it from New Orleans.
Really?
Everybody who rapped has rapped over that beat. Like the first rap you ever wrote was over that. I promise. Like any club you ever been to, you could have been 11 years old. If they knew you could rap, that was the beat they put on for you. They gave you the mic in front of everybody. No, this little nigga can rap, and you had to rap over that shit, like straight up. So everybody know it.
Wow. Now, JD, did you create 106 Park?
Yeah. I mean, you know, see, the funny part about this, the funny part about this is that, I didn't speak about. I mean, I'm a CEO, right? So this goes into the world of like what we was just talking about. If you don't see Jermaine Dupri working, you don't see me doing what we got to do, then you're not gonna believe anything that happens, right? Because when Charlamagne just said I want to reverse this and ask you a question. When you say I don't get the respect that I'm supposed to get, how do you feel when you see something that you didn't think was gonna work that's mine? And it works. How do you feel about that? I mean, I don't know. It shouldn't make you feel anyway. You probably don't care, but I'm just saying, like,
I never thought about it, but if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, why would anybody doubt somebody who's made several things work?
Okay, but I'm saying, so when I brought the kids from the rap game here, remember this? You was like, nobody want to see no kids rap.
Yeah. Now Layla, out of here.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. How does that make you feel? Like, it don't make you like feel like, you know. Because I'm saying that's what's happened, right? Yeah. So that's the same thing that's happened here, right? If you...
Well, what I should say is, JD, congratulations again.
Yeah, so but nobody says that. Nobody's going to say congratulations. But I'm saying, I say that to say that if I wouldn't have brought them here, y'all saw the kids. You seen them from scratch before they was ever anybody,
Absolutely.
Right? If you didn't see it, and nobody else, and people have forgot about that show at this point. And I said, I created a TV show that introduced you to Lotto. Somebody would challenge that and be like, somebody would challenge you and say, no, you didn't. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's the same thing. When I saw MTV TRL, right? I used to drive down the street because we was working. I was working here. I drive down the street. I see all these kids outside in Times Square, and I'm like, damn, why black kids don't have a show like this, right? Meanwhile, I'm making the Bow Wow record, and I'm like, BET needs to do this. Now, if they had this idea in their mind prior to me saying this, then God bless them. But I'm saying, what artists was they going to launch that show with? Because I provided the artists that made that show what that show became, right? It wasn't no Chris Brown before Bow Wow. It wasn't no Lil Romeo before Bow Wow. It wasn't no Littles, and I think somebody got mad at me for saying the Little because
I disagreed with that. That was mad Littles.
It was a Lil Kim.
It was a Little John.
I'm young generation. I'm talking about the Littles. I'm clearing this up. I meant the Littles of his era, not the Little Johns. Yeah, it's always been a little person forever.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying. I'm talking about all of Lil Romeo's, Zayn. Like who? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? These people that came in that Bow Wow lane. Right. That's what I meant. But I'm still saying, if people don't realize that, you know, that's why, and people don't even understand that. I'm the one who gave Bow Wow the name Mr. 106 in Park. BET didn't give him that name. So why would I name him that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I put that in a verse to say I'm Mr. 106 in Park?
So why wouldn't Stephen Hill just acknowledge that? Because he said it wasn't true. He said JD just didn't create one.
I believe that, you know, I don't work at BET.
Gotcha.
Right? So if you and I have a conversation, you don't come back to this office and tell everybody I talked to Jermaine for 2 hours, 3 hours on the phone. You're just gonna come back in here and say, Envy, let's do this.
I don't do that. I like to give people their credit.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't about me. Yeah. I didn't want the credit for 106 in Park, right? I'm not even saying, I'm not speaking on it now about me wanting the credit. What I was speaking on that show was the fact of what I do for my artists, right? When you are part of what I'm doing, I'm going to call Envy and be like, dog, they said we couldn't come to the Breakfast Club. What's happening? I'm going to take that extra mile to do what I have to do to make sure that my artists get that stretch, right? And that's all I was saying. I put a call in to Stephen Hill and say, yo, we need to do a show that looks like blah, 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 because I have this new artist by the name of Bow Wow. And that may make it. But I know that that's what happened. So, you know what I'm saying? And people can take it how they want to take it.
I don't understand you and Bow Wow's relationship either.
Yeah, why don't you just grab him, put him in the headlock, give him a key, and then that's your family.
It's like a straight signing. It's like your JD made you look.
It's also, I think the outside world, you know, it's the same thing I said. You kids of today in this generation of hip hop, we have a lost appreciation thing, right? And that's why I said about being with Mercy, it's you, everywhere I go to see people don't have appreciation for hip hop. And that has become a thing in hip hop now to not appreciate the things that came and got you to this space, right? And it's a turn, it's like he's a football figure. Yeah, I like his son. I feel like the outside world makes you not appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. It's just it's the hip hop world we live in right now don't appreciate shit. Like for real. Like I put a hot top fade the other day in the video, right? It's people on there that's so much more concerned with me thinking that I want to play this at my age and saying I want to midlife crisis as opposed to looking at it and saying, man, that's some shit that hip hop, that's what you can do if you something what hip hop did, right? Hip hop made niggas do any and everything. And we never had a problem. We never questioned it. It was because it was hip hop. And now, if you do something that hip hop makes you do, or if you even try to, there's no appreciation for it. And I think that's what that is. And I feel like Bow Wow is in that space where he has to deal with